We're currently receiving a high number of grant applications from organisations who are trying to do something to support local people in their community, particularly as a result of the coronavirus crisis. Many of these organisations might be new or haven't applied for funding for a while, and so they may feel some apprehension about submitting an application. But we've simplified our grants process so that in most cases applications can be completed within 30 minutes, and if someone's successful, the money can be in their account within 48 hours. We've also put together this video of tips that will help you to explain what you're doing and how you're helping people. If at the end of it you still feel like you want more information or you want to discuss your project, then give us a call or send us an email and we'll be happy to do that.
Make sure you're applying to the right fund for the right thing. Different funds have different criteria, so you should be sure that the fund that you're applying to can consider your request. Read the information containing the aims of the fund and make sure that your project idea supports that aim.
Tell us about your organisation. We may not know about you or what you're trying to do. There is a section on the application form for you to tell us about your group, what you usually do, who you're trying to support and what your normal service would be. Often people write things about their group and assume that others will understand, but it's not always the case. So before you submit your application, it might be worthwhile asking someone not connected to your organisation if they would understand what you do from what you've written.
Tell us what you want to do. For the Emergency Grants scheme, we only ask you 3 questions which require any form of narrative. The first is what you want to do with any funding you receive if you're successful. This can include the detail about what you will do and how you will do it. The second question is about how the people you're trying to help are disadvantaged. We know how people have been affected by the situation caused by the coronavirus, but often projects are dealing with one part of that specifically, so just tell us about the part that you'll be dealing with. And the third question is about what you hope you will achieve, how you will help the people you're trying to help, and what will be better for them.
Tell us about the location you'll be working in. We can support projects that are working across the whole county, part of the county, in a city, borough or district, a village or hamlet, on an estate or even down to a few streets. We don't show any preference to those projects that are covering a larger area. It's all about making sure there is enough help for the people that need it. You'll find a drop-down list on the application form that will allow you to choose the local authority you're working in, and under there's also a box for you to type a specific area.
Please give us a clear breakdown of how much funding you need and what you intend to use it for. Now, sometimes a project may be eligible, but certain costs are not. Now, if you don't provide a breakdown of costs, we may have to come back to you for more information, and that could delay your application. It also means that if we're only able to part fund a project, we may still be able to allocate funding to you for some of your costs, but if there's no breakdown, we just have to say no.
Tell us about the type of people you hope to support. This is slightly different to the section asking about disadvantage. It's based on a pick list, so you can choose what type of needs you will be addressing, whether that's health or fitness or isolation or so on. We also ask for demographic breakdowns, but again, this is done through a pick list. We don't expect you to support every demographic, and there are good reasons as to why you might not be able to do this, but if you do say that you're going to be supporting lots of different demographics, we would expect you to do so and may seek evidence when the project is over. A decision will not go against you if your project is focused on a narrow group of people.
Tell us if you're working with any other organisations. We love collaborative projects as they often help to target a wider group of people. But it's not always possible to work collaboratively, and so it doesn't go against you if you're not. But if you are, it is useful for us to know who is providing other services in the area. You might be working with other voluntary sector organisations, a parish or town council, a local authority, or a health authority. It doesn't go against you if you're working with other organisations and could work in your favour.
Be realistic about your project. Don't be tempted to try to make your project sound bigger than it is. We can see the value in projects, and quite often small or medium-sized projects can have a more targeted impact. We really like funding those sorts of projects. We know some projects are bigger and have to be because of their nature. That's fine too. The important thing is to be specific. Also, tell us about the number of people you will support, but be realistic. Whilst we're interested in funding projects that work with lots of people, sometimes we want to support smaller projects that will help people who would otherwise miss out. If you say you're going to work with a high number of people, we will expect you to do so. And if you cannot, then it might go against you.
Please don't be disheartened if we're not able to fund you first time round. We're always looking at ways to help, and if you're not successful at first, it doesn't mean that it's not a worthy project or that we don't think it's needed. It might just mean that we haven't been able to prioritise it at that time. If that is the case, we will always look at our other schemes to see if it's a better fit for one of those. We may recommend it to another funder as we're working with several who may be able to help if we can't. Or we may hold on to your application for a few weeks to see if we can fund it at a later stage.
Above all, when completing your application, be clear and concise. You don't have to use lots of jargon, and you don't have to use certain buzzwords. Write from the heart and be quite clear in how you intend to work. You don't need to fill the page with lots of statistics, and sometimes it is easier to make a decision based on a couple of heartfelt paragraphs rather than a page full of figures. We've deliberately simplified our application process to make this fund easier to apply to, and to produce a quicker turnaround so that funding can go to the people that really need it now. Your application shouldn't take more than half an hour to complete, and that includes the basic things we need to know, such as your name, address and contact details.
If you are successful in receiving a grant, we will want to promote it, and so we ask for your Twitter name or any other social media that you make use of. This helps to show what we have done with our funding, but it's also good publicity for your organisation. It helps to make people aware of who you are and what you are doing in the community. Likewise, if you tweet about your project, then please mention us. It helps us to show our donors where their money has gone and the difference that we've helped them to make.
Thank you for watching our top tips. We hope you found them useful. If you would like to apply to our funding, all details can be found at staffsfoundation.org.uk. If you would like to discuss your project or your application with us, please give us a call or send us an email and we'll be happy to help. Thank you.